Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. One way to raise a spoiled brat of a child is to teach the child that there are no consequences for his or her actions. Don't just do it like that, and your child will know no rules, no boundaries, and will have no respect. Therefore, will always think that they are entitled. Anything they want to have, they will have. So this is something that it's, I think, relevant in this article. I think it's explained because these spoiled children who get to be spoiled like this and become brats, what they do, they are very surprised to learn that life has consequences, provides consequences of actions. The problem is they lived in an artificial environment at home, which taught them that there are no consequences for their action. So when they go in the real world, they will learn and they will throw tantrums and they will be horrified because their reality was at home in that special environment. Fake environment, not natural environment, which is actions have consequences. Now, that leads me to this article coming from Associated Press, and it's about that Wall Street Journal journalist who was accused by the Russians, arrested and indicted. I think he was, or at least just accused of, being a spy. And he is going to face some years in a Russian prison. Wall Street Journal and the Americans deny that he is a spy, and he was charged with espionage, charges, and they say, well, he was not. The Russians said, well, we caught the guy, red-handed doing this. That's the first one. The second one, that was a low blow by, I would say, the second part, which is the Americans denied visas for Russian journalists to come to United Nations and cover the session, the proceedings of United Nations Security Council, where Russia now is the chair country, and they were not given the visa. That was a cheap shot, I think. Is like, But anyway, and now the Russians will come closer to hit them back, not closer, but they will hit them back by denying the US staff to see this person who is accused of espionage in Russia. So now the Americans are throwing a tantrum. How come you don't let us see this guy that you arrested, and your justice system will take its course, as in any other country, with one exception: the Russians are bad. Got it? Got it. So now they're all surprised. How can you do this to us? The Russians, according to Associated Press, did this as a retaliatory move because of the visa issue problem. They didn't give the visa to those Russian, media people. So let's go and see this article from Associated Press, which is from yesterday. And it says that Russia denies visit to American reporter in visa retaliation. All right, so Russia's foreign ministry on Thursday denied a U.S. request for a consular visit to Ivan Gershkovich, an American reporter for the Wall Street Journal who is jailed on espionage charges. The ministry said it rejected the request for the May 11 visit in retaliation for the U.S. refusing to grant visas to Russian journalists who planned to accompany Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov on a trip to the United Nations. Gershkovich has been in custody since his March 29 arrest by Russian security services on espionage charges that he, his employer, and the US government have denied. Well, we'll see what evidence the Russians bring and how the defense will help Mr. Gershkovich. The United States has declared Gershkovich to be wrongfully detained and demanded his immediate release. This is a little tantrum here. Well, we'll find out. Maybe he was, maybe he wasn't, but let the system take its course. The Russian denial of the US request for a consular visit to Gershkovich followed Lavrov warning that Moscow, and I'm quoting, will not forget and will not forgive the denial of the visas to Russian journalists. The foreign ministry said Friday it was also considering other retaliatory measures. And I'm quoting, a protest note was presented in connection with the provocative conduct of the U.S. diplomatic mission, which thwarted the issuing of visas to mass media representatives, because we love the First Amendment, from the press pool of Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov, who were supposed to accompany him on his trip to New York as part of Russia's presidency of the UN Security Council, end quote, the Russian Foreign Ministry said in a statement. Well, actions have consequences for all of us, but it seems like certain entities think that just because they are stronger and can punch other people in the face, they will not have consequences. The problem is sometimes you're gonna how should I say meet your match, and some countries can punch you back. Well, obviously Yugoslavia was not able to. Libya was not able to, Iraq was not, Afghanistan was not, Syria was not, but guess what? Russia can, and China can, and many other countries of a certain caliber, not caliber missiles, but caliber. All right? So I don't celebrate these kind of things, but I can't, smirk a little bit by looking at the Americans, and it's not the only article I read about this one, being how should I put it, insulted by the Russians' retaliatory measures. And you say, well, the Russians did this. Okay, you did this. Oh no, you did this. You did this. If you go there, you're going to find out that, it's not like one country is pure and the other is all evil. The problem is this is the picture they want to paint for us. And I don't buy that. Why? Because there's evidence over there, historical evidence that disproves this worldview. And I don't like when you hear someone who is very dirty, pointing fingers at everybody that they don't like or they don't do what they want them to do, and call them names and accuse them sometimes for good reason, for something they are doing as they're saying it. They're condemning it. So, you do this, we do this. What are you going to do? We are already at war like 99%. The 1% is just you hit us, we hit you. That's all. Everything else is there. So do you think the Russians are going to shy away from doing whatever they say they will do? Remember, as I said it many times, I don't think I've seen a country like this. Maybe I didn't have the opportunity, but there are some others that seem to be consistent. And those countries are usually bad countries. Bad countries. That's how they were ascribed. Boom, you're bad, you're bad, you're bad. And these countries are consistent. There is, as I said many times, if they say they will do something, they do that thing, good or bad. Whereas other countries change their mind. That change of mind, for me, it was a big surprise when I came and I started living in the free world. And I realized, one specific free world, where people just change their mind. We talk about something, we agreed upon something, and 2 days you change your mind and you don't want to do that again. Wait a minute, you're not trustworthy anymore. And if that's a pattern, then really you should not trust that entity. Just remember how President Trump withdrew from the Iran deal unilaterally. The Europeans were up there, Iran was over there. They signed, they agreed, the country, not the administration, the country, United States, signed over there, blah, blah, blah. And they just said, you know what, we change our minds. We don't like anymore, you did something, we're out. Okay? So that's a very tiny example. The things are more complicated than I just expressed it, but it's a little tiny example of, I just changed my mind. Well, I'm not going to do business with you if you change your mind, if we make a deal right now, and then in the middle of the transaction you change your mind. So yeah, in this way, the Russians told you they're going to retaliate, they retaliated. And these guys don't really care because it doesn't affect them. So they will continue doing what they do best. I send it to the beginning of my video. Lack of consequences create brats. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.